Hi, my name is Christine Godinez, and this is my second storytelling performance. I'm going to be telling you the story of MrFox, and it's an adaptation by Janice Del Negro. Lady Mary was young. Lady Mary was fair. Lady Mary had 2 brothers and a father, and she lived in a castle. She had many suitors, and of all of her suitors, the one she found the most handsome was MrFox. Now, nobody knew who MrFox was, but Lady Mary knew that he was brave, and he was rich, and he had a castle. And of all of the suitors, she had eyes for him alone. So, it had been agreed upon that Lady Mary would marry MrFox. Now, Lady Mary asked MrFox, "Where shall we live when we get married?" And he described to her his castle and the wonders that lay within it, but he never took her or her father or her brothers there. She found it odd, but she decided to marry him anyways. So, one day when Lady Mary's brothers and father were away, and MrFox was, he said he was off doing business for a couple of days, Lady Mary decided that she would go and find the castle where she was to live when she married. So she went searching, and after a while, she came upon a castle that looked just as he has described. So, as she walked up, she saw that there was a grand gate, and there was a large moat, and she thought how wonderful it would be to live there. So as she approached, she came upon the gate, and above the gate, in iron were the words, "Be bold, be bold." Well, she was brave. Lady Mary was brave. So she decided to be bold and enter through the unlocked gate. As she came through the courtyard, she came up to the front door, and above the front door were the words written in wood, "Be bold, but not too bold." Well, she found that odd, but she was brave, very brave. So she went through the unlocked door. And she wandered around the castle, came upon a grand staircase, and decided to go up and look around. And as she walked up the staircase, wandered down the hall, she found a door at the end. And above the door were the words written in red, be bold, but not too bold, lest your heart's blood run cold." Wow, she hesitated for a minute. She was a little afraid, but she was brave, so brave. And if this was to be her home, she knew she had to enter. So as she opened the door and walked inside, what she saw, words couldn't describe what she saw. Bodies and bones and bones and bodies stained with blood. Young women everywhere, dead. Well, she was brave, but she wasn't stupid. And she turned and she ran down the stairs. And as she's running down the stairs, she looks out the window, and who does she see? MrFox, walking up the driveway, carrying a dead woman, dragging her by her arm. Well, she ran down the steps, went underneath the steps, and hid behind a cask, a wooden barrel. And she crouched down tight, and she hoped if she crouched tiny enough, MrFox wouldn't find her. And she did it just in time, because as she crouched, he came through the front door. He had no idea Lady Mary was there. And he was dragging this body along and went to go up the stairs and noticed a beautiful ruby ring on the hand of the young woman he had murdered. Well, he wanted this ring, so he started tugging and tugged, but couldn't get the ring off. So being the lunatic he was, he pulled out his sword and lopped off her hand. But as he did it, the hand flew. And where did it land? Right in Lady Mary's lap, behind the cask. Well, she was terrified, but she knew she shouldn't make a sound. Mr. Fox, not having much time, decided he would search for the hand later. So he grabbed the woman with her bloody stump and dragged her all the way up the stairs and into the room, leaving a trail of blood behind. And as he walked into the room with the bodies and the bones and the blood and closed the door, Lady Mary hightailed it out of there and ran home. Now the next day, Lady Mary was to sign her marriage contract with Mr. Fox. And it just so happens that they were going to have a large breakfast feast in the morning. So, in the morning, Lady Mary and her brothers and her father and Mr. Fox sat down for their breakfast meal. And as they sat there, Mr. Fox told Lady Mary, "Well, Lady Mary, you look very pale today, my dear." And Lady Mary said, "I had bad dreams, very bad dreams last night." "Oh, well, say what your dreams were, and if you say it, then it didn't happen." Well, Lady Mary said, "Okay. I dreamed that I searched for your castle, where we were to live. And I searched, and as I came upon the castle, I came up to an iron gate. And above that iron gate, I saw the words, 'Be bold, be bold.'" "Well, it didn't happen. It couldn't be," said Mr. Fox. Lady Mary said, "Well, and then after I passed the gate, I walked along and I came upon the front door. And above the front door were the words, 'Be bold, but not too bold.'" Mr. Fox, clearly flustered, said, "Oh, no, Lady Mary, that could not be. That could not be true." "Well, Mr. Fox, then, as I climbed the stairs, I came upon a room, and above the door of the room it said, 'Be bold, but not too bold, lest your heart's blood run cold.' And I was terrified, so I ran." "Oh, Lady Mary, that cannot be true," said Mr. Fox. "That just isn't so." And Lady Mary says, "Well, and then I dreamt, as I ran down the steps and I hid, I saw you carrying a dead woman. And as you carried her, you found a ring on her hand. And you tried to get it off, but you couldn't. And so you pulled out your sword and you swiped her hand. You cut her hand off to get to her ring." "Oh, no, Lady Mary, that cannot be true. That would never happen. Say it isn't so, Lady Mary." So Lady Mary, with all of her courage, now she was brave, remember, so brave. She sat there and she said, "Oh, but it is true, Mr. Fox." And she reached under the table and she pulled out the hand and she said, "Here's the hand and here's the ring, and you murdered that woman, and I saw the room with the bodies and bones and blood stained everywhere, Mr. Fox. I know who you are." Well, Mr. Fox was terrified, and he stood up and he said, "But that can't be true." And just then, Lady Mary's father and brothers leapt up from the table, jumped on Mr. Fox, and cut him to pieces for the vile scum that he was. And that is the story of Mr. Fox. Thank you.